You never know how strong you are until strong is the only thing you can be.
Hello, good afternoon, good day, good morning, wherever you are. This is Moji Taiwo of the Immigrant Experience Show coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I am also the author of the book I Give Because I'm Blessed. I'm blessed because I give, a chronicle of an immigrant's journey. But before we start going on this show today, I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors and our supporters so far, as we expect many more of you viewers to join us on this journey. Our special guest today is Ms. Funke Banjoko. Ms. Banjoko is a supply chain management professional with over 2 decades of experiences in the oil and gas field. Funke has worked for Canadian oil giants such as Nexen, Enbridge, and Syncrude. Currently, Ms. Funke sits as the first Nigerian Black woman elected to council in the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo in Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Give me a minute before we dive into your immigrant journey.
Yes.
I would like to share a tidbit about Canada. Did you know that according to Statistics Canada 2016 report, Chinese languages of Mandarin and Cantonese were the most spoken immigrant mother tongues in Canada? Now you know. So, our special guest.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank
you
you.
for joining me. It's taking a little while longer than expected, and that's because the show is gaining grounds, and a lot of people are requesting to be featured. So, yeah.
And I follow you, so I see all the good work. So I want to say thank you to you for showcasing the immigrants in Alberta. We do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, let's start by sharing a bit of your immigrant journey. When did you arrive in Canada? And what led you to choose Canada?
Okay, I arrived in Canada January of 2009.
Oh, that's not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
2009.
Yes.
You've done wonders in that short period of time.
Yes,
Oh,
and
kudos.
thanks to God.
Yeah.
And all the beautiful people that surround me. So I like most Nigerians or the immigrants who took advantage of the open invitation of skilled workers to Canada.
Okay.
So I did process the skilled workers program. I was supposed to actually have been here since 2005, but I didn't come down till 2009.
So you know, and I use this also medium to educate people, as I said earlier. There are so many different categories of immigrants.
Yes.
There are students, there are refugees that's commonly known by most Canadians.
Yes.
And there are other areas such as the one you just said, skilled workers,
provision,
nominees,
and
program.
different ones.
Yeah.
So
More or less, Canada attracting people who have already been trained and bred and breeded in their country to come and work here.
yes.
Yes.
So I did that. But funnily, I was living in Chicago, Illinois, in the States. And Chicago is a fun place, so
Yes.
I refused to come and land. And so coming to land in 2009, it was a tough place. It was a long journey, and I had to beg for what I was already offered in 2005. So it took a long time.
So it took
but
you
I
4
got-
years to
It
make
had
up your
lapsed
mind.
already, and
You had to
so I
reapply?
had to reapply. I had to do
Oh,
all sort of, almost pleading before I was.
You see, such is life. When they gave it to you voluntarily in 2005,
Yeah.
it was not as appreciated until you needed it.
Yeah, and actually, when I wanted to now consider coming in, I called my immigration lawyer, lawyer Babalola in Toronto, and he told me, oh, it had lapsed. And that was when I knew, you mean I can't
come anymore?
And if I tell you the whole story, the entire story, we won't finish today. But thank God, he's still,
So when you decided to come finally,
yes.
Did you go directly to Fort McMurray?
So yes and no. I landed in Toronto. I stayed for a week. But because I was working in Shell, Nigeria, and most of my friends are either in Calgary or Fort McMurray or Edmonton.
Because of the oil and
because
gas.
of the oil and gas. So I actually thought it was just a matter of changing plane and coming to Fort McMurray, and I found out I needed almost $1,000 to fly within a short period. So I waited a little bit for a week, and then I came to Fort McMurray for about 2 weeks. To stay with my. They played the role of the host, Nwabu, Nzuru, and Hope. So I stayed with them for.
Hope and Hope Nzuru, my dear sister.
Yes, so I stayed there in Fort McMurray, but I didn't have a job, and as you know, to stay in Fort McMurray, you need a job. Not just a job. You need to have.
You just took me into my next question.
So I went back to Toronto for a little while, and then I was hired by Nexing, and now they are known as Sinok, and they brought me back to Fort McMurray.
I was going to ask, what are some of the challenges you faced right off the get-go when you arrived? And one of them you just mentioned is the employment.
Yes.
And without employment, we can't really do anything.
No. And especially Fort McMurray is also in another class like Warri or Port Harcourt for those from Nigeria. It's a bit more expensive, even Calgary too. So anyway, I came to Canada with 2 suitcases. Not coming to meet a husband or a boyfriend or anything, and even my children were not with me. So I was going through a lot of challenges, so
even
to say.
Emotionally.
Yeah, so that was when
you're going to a new place
and alone.
It's cold,
and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do.
But not like Fort McMurray.
Yeah, so Fort McMurray is in another class.
And
no,
then
cold in
you're
Chicago.
not with your family. So that's
so every
challenge.
kind of thing you can think of was going on, and yes, it was definitely tough at the beginning.
How did you overcome those challenges?
I think one, I'll just drop it here that you never know how strong you are until strong is the only thing you can be.
Yes, let me rephrase that. You never know how strong you are until your option is only to be strong.
So I either had to be strong or I had to give up. And I had to choose to be strong and to keep going. And get a job, get a house, brought my kids from Chicago to join me, and
it was kids having to leave their friends and their family.
So
that must be very hard.
And then to come from Chicago slowly to Toronto for us was quiet. So Fort McMurray is like, okay, no description. But funnily, they grew to like it there, and so I had challenges as you can imagine. Look for the job, even to also be connected to people to now have new friends
and your community and everything like that. So we're going to talk more about that community.
Yes.
So from my decades of living in Canada, most Black people shy away from politics or anything. It might be because of our exposure to the kind of politics that we in our country. That might be one reason.
Yes.
And another reason might be because we don't think we could make a difference.
Yeah, it is.
But we can.
Yes.
So how did you get into politics? What motivated you?
Yeah, so I think, first of all, I think one of the ways that I coped with all that was going on around me was to get involved with the
With the
community.
community. That's what I'm hoping you will get to. That's why I said we will get to that. Okay, carry
So
on.
I
please.
kept, I got to Fort McMurray in July 11th. By January, I was already on the Community Services Committee for the city, volunteering. Of course, I volunteer in my church. I'm the secretary and the, do this and that
You
in
got
my church.
involved.
Everything that I could lay my hands on to get busy, get connected. And then people were telling me, are you going to run for mayor? Are you going to run for council? And to me, they were like jokes. So it didn't sink in at all.
See, that's what they always say too, that other
Like,
people see in us what we don't see in
Yeah.
ourselves.
So
Yeah.
so it was so funny that I didn't. It wasn't my intention. It was just to give back to the community. I saw that Canada is one of the, even though after living in the States, Canada is one of those places where I see people volunteer, wake up on Saturday to go and do things, and it's for free. And I wanted to do it.
The stats in my last show that we recorded was the fact that 8 in 10 Canadians actually volunteer.
I couldn't believe it. Even old people, they have the places they volunteer. So I feel the need to copy what is good about the new culture.
Yes.
And so I was sold out to the community. And so definitely, so to cut the story short, during the COVID was when actually I think COVID came with some good things too.
Oh, yes.
So I worked from home and all that, and then I looked at it, and then the election thing was coming up. People were starting, then I said, wait a minute, why don't I just go to council and my voice will be heard a bit louder and clearer on things maybe that I had suggested on committees. I will be sitting at the higher table, so to say, and speak clearer. And the first, I think I called my pastor and he said, what are you waiting for? We've been telling you for years. I called this one and that one, and everybody was like, it was like they had a meeting. Like, okay, yeah, go for it. We're behind you. And so that was it. But my background, my parents were actually a little bit into politics. My mother was served as a councillor for under, I think, military government, if I think back now, because she didn't run for election.
Well, so, I was going to say not so much politics, but in community service.
Yes, community service.
Yeah.
And then my dad was a customary court judge. So I grew up serving and seeing them do things and hearing people's stories and seeing them wanting to help. Yeah.
There is a page in my book where I wrote about my parents' service to the community. I grew up, because people of course also ask me, how come you always doing this? I grew up in a household where on Fridays, because I was brought up in a Muslim home. Okay. On Fridays, the shop is shut down and we make big pots of food and sugar cakes. And kids, neighborhood kids will line up and get unfailingly every Friday. So, and not only, I'm going to speak for you here, if you don't mind me. Going back to, you can either survive or give up. You have to survive, and part of that strategy is being involved with your community, knowing where you are and the people who occupy the spaces and how you can contribute to that space.
That's true.
So, and we immigrants need to do that.
Yeah, and it's amazing when you see how people, and I actually, during this journey of being a councillor, we went to a fire hall in one of the suburbs in Fort McMurray, and this had 8 volunteers, and that's how that
they
place
operate.
runs. Yeah, I had to ask again, you run on volunteers? They said that has been the case for years, and it's working. And if they call them, at least 2-3 people will show up.
And these people also spend their time training
Yes.
because they have to train
Oh, yes.
constantly.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And they are doing it. Yeah. And they are not paid.
So, how is life as a black immigrant woman politician?
Well, and
because I know that not everything is easy or rosy.
No, not everything is easy. And to backtrack a little bit, I'm actually the first black ever, male or female, Nigerians or no
Nigerian. Yes.
To ever come to council in the region. So, and when I declared, even some of my close allies, not out of disrespect, but out of love, told me, "Are you sure? People will get to know you this time, and maybe next time, it's a good thing you show your face."
They are kind of trying to prepare you for failure.
Yeah, so that was the expectation, and I thought, oh my God.
But I also saw them out there with you.
Yeah, and
on the campaign trail, I saw you.
When
I saw
people
them
know that
yes.
you know your stuff and you are going ahead and you are focused,
they'll come
get
along.
more people along.
Yes.
People, in fact, some of the stories were so amazing, people won't believe it. People were cheering for me regardless of the color or ethnicity, and it was so amazing. So it's not been easy too, because there's still the 2%, 3% element of those who still perceive people, see people through the eyes of the color that they wear. But my thing is to keep going. They will find out that you've got what it takes to be on the city. And so that's what I do. I get ready for every meeting. I prepare like I'm going for, I just prepare.
Well, that's what most immigrants do.
I do. Yes, we have to do more. Yes. And once it's proven, then people give you the respect that is deserved.
So you've been such an amazing, examples for us.
Thank you.
I've been here forever, and people have also said politics, but I always said I'm too outspoken to be politics.
And at the same time, I come with a friendliness that might be difficult to ignore because I know that even if you feel I'm black, which is obvious, I want you to find out
anything about that.
Yeah, but you will find out that I'm a person, I'm supportive, I love, I give.
You care about your community.
And I'm not going to, in my bid to fight racism, I'm not going to be racist against the white folks or against the other people. I just accept, I try my best. So that has also made the journey a bit easier. Because some might be coming with this, but when they find out who you are, there's a tendency for
I
them
always
to
say you can
accept
kill people with kindness.
Yes.
You disarm people with kindness.
Yes. It never fails.
Yeah. So, what's next in your future?
People are beginning to, some are telling me, are you running for this next or that next? And I'm like, I've only done 1/8 of my term in the first one. So I just want to keep giving, keep serving. It might be on council, it might be something higher, it might be something different, but the remaining, I always say 50 years left to go.
Yes.
I'm going to keep giving, I'm going to keep inspiring the young ones. But I think I'm going to continue the role to be the face and the voice. And I think it's very rewarding for me, not in terms of money, but in terms of the satisfaction that I derive, the joy
that you're making a difference in people's lives.
Yes, and I hope that I'm being the first should just be the first of many to come that are coming. Yes. So that's what I hope to do. I hope to be able to encourage people, empower them, give them tips, and let's raise more people.
That's good. Thank you.
More leaders.
Yes. And we have plenty of leaders in the immigrant community.
Yes, no doubt.
Well, thank you for this sit down. It's been a pleasure. And for our viewers, you heard it from Miss Funke Banjoko, that you just need to give, put yourself out there. Don't accept defeat as the last resort.
Yeah.
What you give is what you take back.
Yes.
And on that note, we're going to say thank you for joining us. But before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And also register to become our member. Until next time, I say goodbye. My name is Moji Taiwo.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching.